what we found is all the major players that we talked to did some iteration of the same thing. Hello YouTube, it's Christian, and today we're talking about the debt hammer. Now in this segment, this is the final installment of our series of our 4 steps of real estate. We have the buy phase, the stabilize phase, the optimize phase, which Cody just covered, link below, and now we get to the debt hammer. Now a lot of people say this is stupid. And so I'm going to just open with why they say that, and then I'm going to tell you why they're wrong. A lot of people go, okay, if you keep levering, you get to grow faster, which is true. There are tax benefits to staying levered, which is also true. And there is some risk prevention where, hey, if you stay levered, it's hard to lose all the money because you don't have as much money in the deal. Also true. So why are they wrong? Well, there's a difference between owning your properties and owning them. Especially as you own a lot of real estate, you have a whole bunch of different targets, different payments, different timelines that can be a pain to track. Also, if anything happens while you have debt, that is the number one way people lose properties, is they can't afford to service the mortgage, and the bank or the lender, for us usually it's the seller financed prior owner, would have to take that property back. The goal is to keep them forever, and what you're doing is you're eliminating variables. If you want stability in your portfolio and you want to really own your financial freedom, there is absolutely nothing that competes with not having any debt. You now are the true owner. As far as eliminating risk, there are a ton of different insurance products and ways to structure your company. Talk to your lawyer about them, but there are a ton of ways to stabilize and protect what you have outside of, hey, I'm just going to keep it highly leveraged. What we want to do is pay down everything in its entirety, and we do this in building blocks. So first you set a goal, and for me the goal was retiring my wife. And I figured that cost, since I was already working full-time real estate, I was like, really to sustain us, it's going to be $15,000 to $20,000 a month to live the life we want, to have the stability to continue to service all of our mortgages, and really just have the freedom to do what we want to do. For me personally, $20,000. So once we built a portfolio that yields $20,000 in cash flow, it's time to pay it all off. Now, I have a little bit more in the optimization phase before I get there, but I own all of the real estate that I need to hit that goal. So now it's time to start rolling down the debt, because if you're cash flowing $20,000 and suddenly you whack all that debt, you have a lot more cash flow, because it turns out less expenses means more money. But with more income, I secure my position, I have more cash for the next build phase, and I truly own that block. That is a solid foundation for me to stand on to hit my next goal. As I'm setting my next goals, I'm asking, where do I want to be in a company? Where do I want to live? This is the first time I'm really getting to make decisions on, do I want to make lifestyle upgrades? Because when I pay off all that real estate, I actually have more money and I really have secured that. That's where you can start looking at, do I want to drive a nicer car? Do I want to have a bigger house? You need to buy and secure your goal. This is not an overnight thing. This is going to take Cody the better part of a decade for the two of us to pay off this section of the portfolio. For the next goal, we're going to continue to lever up and we start that next cycle. One thing that we may not have explained thoroughly is you can be doing multiple iterations of this as you're building. For example, we did the build phase. We bought 100 units, then we bought a resort, and then we bought a few more units. Now we're finishing stabilization. We're almost done, while simultaneously starting to optimize some of the properties. And we're going to hardcore optimization here very, very soon. Once that's done, all we focus on in that portfolio, those 100 or so properties and the resort, is we want to just roll down the debt on those. We're not relevering them, we're not refinancing them, we're paying them off before the debts are due. In the meantime, we're still going to be buying, and we are building that next step. So as we're rolling that up on the next build phase, we're paying down all the other properties with their cash flows. That is the entire model. The reason you debt hammer is because you can own it, or you can own it, in capital O-N-W, own. That is so much different. And for me, just the feeling of I have these, they're done, they're secure, they're debt-free, that gives me a peace of mind that I cannot have any other way. Last major part of this, when you are securing a property, you're paying it all the way off, it looks phenomenal on your balance sheet. Banks actually like to see, hey, you can borrow, you can pay them off, you still use some leverage. As you're doing these, you're really securing net worth. You're buying an asset, you're holding an asset, it is done, it is in the completed basket, and that is another tool in your arsenal of like, hey, look, I have these paid off properties. Something Cody and I saw consistently. This is the practical application. We preach this all the time. Set your goal and then meet with the people that have already done what you want to do in the market you want to do it in. What we found is all the major players that we talked to did some iteration of the same thing. They built up to a certain point and then they paid it all the way off. We have one person who did that with 40 units, and then he's like, and then I became a builder, and that was the next thing he wanted to do. So secured the first goal, passive income, paid it all the way down, stabilizing his whole universe, used that as his platform to go build. Building goes like this. It's money in, money out, money in, money out. You get caught mid-project. A lot of people lose everything building, but the richest people on earth are also builders. So his model was pay off all the debt, create that secure base, and hit my next goal. Two other people in that market partnered together on a lot of stuff. They have hundreds of units and basically all the self-storage in town. What they did was ramp it up, ramp it up, ramp it up on a 43-year career. They've got almost everything in 30-year fixed rate debt, and they just didn't refinance. So over time, it rolled all the way down. They paid off their loans. They didn't re-lever the properties. And lo and behold, here they are almost completely debt-free with millions upon millions upon millions of dollars of real estate. They are just set. And watching how they're free to operate is exactly what I want to do, which is why it is an important phase for us. Build what you want to build, stabilize it so that you can hold it, optimize it so that you can build a bigger debt hammer. Otherwise, you just can't hammer down fast enough, is what we found. Hammer down all the debt, and then you're done. And if you want to build another step, repeat the process. That is it for our 4 stages. Hope this was helpful. If it was or you have questions, comment below. We will get to them. You can also join us on Whiteboard Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We meet and we answer all of your questions. Hop in the chat, ask a question. We'd love to meet with you. We will see you guys all soon for our next series.